hundreds of Russian missiles and numerous thousands of Iranian kamikaze drones. At any moment, the terrorist federation can resume energy terror against Ukrainians. And all this with just one bloodthirsty goal: to leave millions of peaceful residents in the rear regions of Ukraine without heat and light.
I don't understand why light in Kyiv. Light, no light. I don't understand this.
But for any aerial threat in the Ukrainian sky, there is a corresponding threat. So let's figure out together who, with what, and most importantly, how the Ukrainian sky is being protected. To begin with, it should be noted, air defense is a system of anti-aircraft defense, which includes many detection and destruction means interconnected with one goal: to eliminate any threat in the sky. When it comes to air defense, it is always a system that consists of anti-aircraft missile or artillery complexes, and the complexes, in turn, consist of smaller elements: radars, launchers, missiles, anti-aircraft guns, command posts, and transport vehicles.
How does this system essentially work? Radars effectively detect targets at quite long ranges, starting somewhere around 250 kilometers, right? After that, the routes of these targets begin to be tracked and transmitted to the fire. That is the means of destruction, which include, on one hand, fighter aviation, and on the other hand, anti-aircraft missile systems, such as...
Interestingly, to protect the sky, an air defense system does not always need to directly shoot down aerial targets. Sometimes, mere presence is enough for enemy aviation to be afraid, to enter its operational zone. This is exactly what is happening now in Ukraine. The enormous losses of the occupiers' aviation from the first days of the invasion have significantly limited the growth of aircraft in flights. Since November 2022, alongside the White House, the Ukrainian sky has been protected by the Norwegian-American NASAMS system. The main tactical weapon of this anti-aircraft missile system is a battery consisting of 3 platoons, 9 launchers, each capable of firing up to 6 missiles, 1 NTAS optoelectronic guidance system, and 3 radar stations. Interestingly, on the front lines, modern air defense radars are used not only for detecting and destroying aerial targets, but also as an assistant for guiding Ukrainian artillery.
Some stations assist our artillery, like HIMARS, in combating enemy targets. That's it. They detect the missile systems, the launch sites of multiple rocket launch systems.
The key weapon of any air defense system is its missiles. NASAMS uses AMRAAM missiles, which belong to the air-to-air class. These missiles were developed by the American company Hughes Aircraft. The air defense system has a combined guidance system. That is, initially, the flight is carried out through command inertial control, and later active radar homing is engaged. The tactical characteristics of NASAMS are as follows: engagement range from 2.5 to 40 kilometers, target altitude from 30 to 16,000 meters, response time 10 seconds, deployment and redeployment time of the system from 3 to 15 minutes, target speed no more than 1,000 meters per second. Perhaps this surface-to-air missile system can be called the most pragmatic of all the options. At one time, NASAMS was developed under the concept of minimal costs, maximum efficiency. Despite the significant advantage in terms of cost, the export price is about $65 million. It, along with the American Hawk and the German Iris-T, is not capable of combating ballistic missiles. In the event of a ballistic launch, the older siblings come to the forefront, the American Patriots and the European SAMP-T.
Only these two systems are capable of working against ballistic targets, that is, against Kinjal missiles, Iskander missiles, and also against Kh-22 missiles.
The peculiarity of intercepting ballistic missiles lies in the direct hit of a missile on a missile. While the munitions fired from most anti-aircraft missile systems operate on the principle of self-detonation, destroying the aerial target only with fragments.
An enemy target is flying, an anti-aircraft missile approaches to a certain distance, detonation occurs, and the fragments hit this aerodynamically designed target. If a ballistic missile is hit by fragments, there is no point in it. It will continue to fly vertically and hit the target. This is the main difference. That is, it's the hit-to-kill principle. Destroying with a direct hit.
You have to pay for the uniqueness and indeed effectiveness, including against analogs like the Kinjal. While the cost of a single shot from an average air defense system does not exceed approximately $1 million, launching a single Patriot missile costs approximately $3 million. The main characteristics of the American Patriot are as follows. With a weight of 912 kilograms, the maximum and minimum interception range is from 3 to 80 kilometers, and the interception altitude is from 60 meters to 24 kilometers. Moreover, up to 8 targets can be engaged simultaneously. To date, the Ukrainian military has already successfully integrated the Patriots into the existing air defense system of Ukraine, which, before the start of the full-scale war, consisted only of Soviet S-300 and Buk missile systems. Another crucial step in preparing for the very harsh winter was the Pentagon's Frankenstein project, which was extremely aimed at significantly providing Ukraine with as many air defense systems as possible, as well as extensively collaborating with Ukraine to develop new air defense systems and also adapt Soviet Buk missile systems to American AIM-7 missiles. Furthermore, this collaboration was in order to successfully and effectively enhance Ukraine's defense capabilities.
Well, this is quite but positive information because there are a huge number of such missiles in the United States warehouses. However, the old Soviet missiles for the Buk, after intensive use of this complex, because it is a mobile complex, it operates both within the country and near the line of combat contact. That is, the ammunition supply for the Buks is not infinite. Therefore, it is necessary to look for some kind of replacement for them.
As we can see, the Ukrainian air defense system is not standing still. Cruise missiles, airplanes, drones, ballistic missiles, and even Kinjal missiles face serious resistance in the Ukrainian sky. But unfortunately, all this only concerns the rear cities of Ukraine. At the front and in frontline cities, the enemy's aviation has a significant advantage. Cabs and aerial bombs fall by the dozens daily on the heads of residents in frontline areas. But against this weapon, or more precisely its carrier, there is a counterbalance, the transfer of which will take place soon.
How are they used? A Russian fighter approaches with bombs to a distance of 30 to 40 kilometers, drops this bomb, which then follows the GPS to the target, and then it turns around and leaves. That is, it doesn't come close. The border is closer to the line of combat contact, closer than there at 25 to 30 kilometers. If we get the F-16 with missiles at 150 kilometers, we will be able to strike Russian KAB carriers.
Friends, that's all for now. Don't forget to write in the comments about which types of weapons you would like to learn more about. Also, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel so you definitely don't miss any exciting new episodes of Arsenal.
This is an entirely new division in the Ukrainian army. In just a few months of operation, they forced the Russians to abandon their tactics of attacking Ukraine and additionally secured the skies over our territory. Mobile fire groups, which have already proven their effectiveness, now operate not only on land but also on water. Around the clock, river patrols protect the sky from missiles and drones and the shores from enemy sabotage and reconnaissance groups. How do they operate? What are they armed with? And what targets are they capable of destroying? This is what we'll discuss today in Arsenal. Previously, their main task was to operate at sea and guard border territories. However, the war dictated a new rule. Since the full-scale invasion by the Russians, hundreds of military threats have loomed specifically over the river waters. The response was the formation of river mobile groups. The main victory of the river patrols today can be considered the inability of the Russians to launch drones over the waters of our rivers. The tactic of the Russians to launch drones over riverbeds in the middle of the night, which was yielding results earlier in the year, is no longer used at all today.
Previously, they prioritized and directed their efforts along the Dnipro riverbed, and not just the Dnipro, but now they are trying to find loopholes through land corridors. Our presence on the Dnipro River specifically blocks this access along it, and I think, as experience shows, that the work is quite effective.
The work has undoubtedly proven to be so effective that many Defense Force units have received similar boats this year, significantly reducing the number of strikes on peaceful cities in Ukraine.
During the latest enemy drone raids, mobile fire groups shot down 57% of the total number in the northern direction. Mobile fire groups carry out missions both on water and on land. These are warriors from the ranks of naval forces, territorial defense, the National Guard, and the State Border Service of Ukraine.
In essence, there is nothing new in the use of patrol boats, but integrating them into the air defense system, that was done for the first time. The crews receive information from ground radars, while also having their own target detection systems.
My task is simply to observe the situation visually through the 360-degree electronic surveillance and reconnaissance system. In other words, like the eyes of this boat. Also, sitting here, on combat readiness number 1, I can open fire.
And there is plenty to fire from. Depending on the type of boat, it has different models of armament. But to generalize, the vessels are equipped with anti-aircraft guns, heavy machine guns, and small arms.
Very convenient. I have a joystick here. Everything is controlled very precisely. The gun, and there's also a 30mm grenade launcher here, and a regular machine gun, a Kalashnikov 7.62. Even if not this weapon, there are small arms. So, everything is very well equipped.
Moreover, the equipment allows for effective operation both day and night.
This system includes night vision devices and a thermal imager.
Having visual control of the target through the devices, and at night additionally illuminating the firing direction with tracer ammunition, the operator selects the most suitable weapon from all available and opens fire.
You can fire from 2 combat modules simultaneously or alternately and target aerial, maritime, or coastal objectives.
Separately in manual mode, the other crew members also conduct fire.
There is a belt. The belt is loaded into the feed mechanism, but we are in the middle of the city. The chamber is loaded, the lid is closed, we pull the bolt, a cartridge is loaded into the chamber, and we can open fire. We open fire here. Here we have the option to fire, both single shots and bursts.
Firing from different weapons of a single naval vessel, and often some crews together in a coordinated manner, is called crossfire. As a rule, this scheme yields the best results.
Well, you see, its bottom is painted in a deep dark black color so that it is not easily visible. They think that if it's black, it won't be seen. In reality, they are mistaken. Some of the drones have become faster than they were, but that doesn't help them either. Most targets are shot down even before reaching the city.
At the same time, no one knows when the air raid siren will sound. Therefore, mobile river groups are on combat readiness around the clock.
There's a lot of work. The part that concerns the drones, well, that's every air raid alert.
It should not be forgotten that the task of river patrols is significantly more complex than that of their ground counterparts. After all, while destroying essentially identical targets, some are on solid ground, but shine, while others are firing while rocking on the waves.
The issue of shooting down aerial targets by mobile fire groups is not simple, especially when the servicemen are using large caliber machine guns. It's actually very difficult, because a missile moves at a speed of approximately 900 kilometers per hour, a cruise missile, Shahed about 150. It's also very difficult to shoot down a Shahed specifically with large caliber weapons or anti-aircraft guns.
However, shooting at drones and missiles is far from the only duty of river mobile groups. The tasks can be absolutely diverse depending on the region in which the crew operates.
From enemy saboteurs, preventing the landing of sabotage and reconnaissance groups on the shore. There have also been multiple evacuations and landings of our forces on the shore, and they have participated as well as air defense. This particular boat shot down a Mohajer 6. The drone began to fall with a parachute. Then, active searches for it began. It ended up with us almost intact. We started extracting information from it. For example, it had a guided aerial bomb on it.
The necessity of such patrols not only at the state borders but also on all rivers where possible within the country has already been noted by the higher military leadership. Therefore, the number of groups will only increase in the future.
Currently, the enemy is located in the south of the Dnipro, and we must also have the appropriate forces and means to counter the enemy on our rivers, on our waterways.
At the same time, there are plans to expand not only the number of boats but also the crew size, so that in the future, one such patrol can be universal for all tasks.
The Marine Corps must be involved in these military actions for the primary purpose of capturing a bridgehead. This is the core mission of the Marine Corps. And the Marine Corps should not only be at sea, but also carry out missions on rivers.
By the way, the prospects for river response groups are undeniably so significant that the command is already set to allocate the training of their crews as a separate military specialty.
This is very different from the deployment of ship crews at sea. Therefore, we are implementing this experience, and in the future, we will study it in our higher naval educational institutions to prepare future officers, who will serve on rivers.
What do you think about the idea of creating patrols on our rivers? Be sure to definitely write in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, so you don't miss new episodes of Arsenal.
Drones in the Russian-Ukrainian war have revolutionized the concept of war itself. Strikes on enemy territory, destruction of equipment both on land and at sea, and reconnaissance. These tasks can and are already being performed by drones, and they are doing their job very well. The Russians are also not standing aside. Every day, dozens of Shahed attack drones fly over Ukrainian territory. The occupiers primarily target critical infrastructure with them, but they often hit ordinary apartment buildings as well. To shoot down the UAVs, Ukrainian defenders use air defense systems. However, manufacturing a drone costs several $1,000s, while an air defense missile costs several million. Of course, the top priority is human life, so they are all shot down. However, it cannot be denied that a lot of funds and resources are spent on such drone attacks. And what if we say that an air defense system has appeared whose main goal is to destroy drones, and each one is eliminated for less than 500 hryvnias? A dream? Not quite. This weapon has already been tested, and very soon it may be adopted by the Ukrainian army. What is this miracle air defense system, and is it really the future? Watch in a moment. In the month of March 2024, the United Kingdom Ministry releases footage of the tests of the laser weapon DragonFire or DragonFire. And just a few weeks later, the Minister of Defense of the Foggy Albion stuns with the statement, DragonFire might be sent to Ukraine even before the British adopted themselves.
I want to accelerate the process, which is usually lengthy, up to 10 years, to much shorter time frames, and potentially deploy this weapon on ships and on land. The UK is working to send prototypes to Ukraine before that, BD UK, even if they are not 100% perfected.
The DragonFire was first heard of in 2017. It was then that the laser air defense system was presented to the public at a conference in London.
The DragonFire system is something new, essentially with the overall concept of an incredibly sophisticated air defense, as it is based on exceptionally sophisticated laser weaponry, directed energy laser technology weaponry.
It is important to note that the specifications of this weapon are classified, and what is known can only be discussed theoretically for now. The fact is that the British side plans to deploy their development only in the year 2027. Therefore, we are currently talking about prototypes, and it is these that will be sent to Ukraine for testing in real combat situations.
This system, it causes a relative dissonance. In what way exactly? It causes dissonance in that, on one hand, it is promising and extremely efficient in terms of energy and financial costs. But on the other hand, it is unknown how it will perform in reality as of 2024 against such a rather serious target as the Shahed 136.
The range of this wonder weapon is also classified. However, it is known that it can hit any target it sees. To understand how extraordinarily powerful this weapon is, they say it can in fact accurately hit a coin from a kilometer away with precision. Furthermore, the laser is particularly appealing because of its significantly low cost. Moreover, the developers assure that using the system for 10 seconds costs the same as using a regular electric heater for an hour. In terms of numbers, on average, one shot costs £10 or less than 500 hryvnias.
Most people talk about the power of the laser, but to hit a drone like this, you don't need a lot of power. All you need is for the laser to hit the target precisely.
However, there are nuances. The publication Defense Express believes that the operation of the laser can be affected by weather conditions, specifically their impact on the scattering of the laser beam in fog, low clouds, and rain. Whether the laser air defense system can function correctly under these conditions is a big question. We must also not forget that the laser requires a power supply. In addition, modern weapons require proper maintenance and repair. The USA, for example, has already encountered this latter problem. America has been developing similar weapons for a long time. And since 2022, one of the installations has even been placed on a destroyer. In theory, it is supposed to destroy small boats and drones, as well as blind optical sensors on enemy aircraft and ships. However, the media reports that the USA does not use it, at least during counteractions against the Yemeni Houthis in the Red Sea. And the problems is as old as time. The installation is complex, and servicing it, let alone repairing it, on a destroyer is very difficult. As a result, the advanced weapon remains idle. Attempts to create laser weapons have been ongoing worldwide for several decades. However, Star Wars have not been achieved by anyone yet. At least there is no official data that this weapon works in combat conditions. Nevertheless, there are plenty of developments.
China is trying to develop similar means of destruction. They have similar developments. Russia, by the way, has also tried to showcase its laser weapons, but to date there is not a single confirmed fact that it has even approached any basic parameters and basic capabilities of producing something similar, even as, let's say, Project Variant. No. Therefore, it can be said that the main competitor in this matter is China.
Israel is probably the closest to success. The Israeli company Rafael demonstrated its Iron Beam at the beginning of 2014. Development has been ongoing since then. And in 2022, the Israeli military conducted a series of tests, reportedly successful. The system prototype destroyed drones, mortar shells, and rockets. And by the end of 2023, local media reported that the Iron Beam achieved the first combat interception in history, allegedly shooting down a mortar shell. However, it remains a mystery whether the interception actually took place. Official sources did not confirm the use of the new system at that time. The developers claim that the Iron Beam can shoot down missiles at the speed of light, and its range of 7 kilometers allows the beam to destroy threats with high precision. Moreover, its use is practically free of charge. The IDF seems to be optimistic about their development. Initially, it was planned that the Iron Beam would be deployed in 2025. However, if the miracle air defense system indeed shot down a mortar in late 2023, it is possible that its prototypes are already in service. But for now, this is just speculation. There are no official statements. However, regarding the future, there are. If the laser truly works, it could certainly soon complement the country's existing air defense systems. And then Israel will truly be under an Iron Dome. Certainly. As for Ukraine and the use of the British laser here, only time will tell its effectiveness. For the United Kingdom, this is a chance to prove that they have created the weapon of the future. And then a line of buyers will form for it. And for Ukraine, it's an opportunity to finally forget about daily drone raids and their destructive consequences. And when that happens, we will definitely tell you about it. In the meantime, like this video, share your thoughts in the comments about the air defense miracle you've seen, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new episodes of Arsenal.